we can expect the price to go back down, right, all the way here, and then ultimately this area here. So they came in very close, right? They came into developing value area low. Um, if they are able to spend more time here versus here, what is that telling you?
Value shifting up.
They're trying to rotate. They're trying to end the auction lower, right? And they're trying to shift higher. Where did we bounce? Does everyone understand? You guys remember January low? We talked about the monthly framing down. I think Erica explained it nicely last time, where we talked about, if you're a weekly framing down and you're shifting. So here's our 2 week. This is your weekly here now. You see that we kind of cracked below the 2 week low, which this one's sitting at 6,800. We kind of cracked below it and we recovered. Is there a lot of access on the weekly here? Is this pretty good access for you guys?
No.
What is that
Maybe.
telling you about other time frame participants?
They're not very strong.
Not very strong, right? And today, you notice something in this auction here as well. What did you guys notice in this price action today?
There was good excess today. At today's single prints. They also bounced on, I think, Tuesday's single prints. And then they built value above.
They have overlapping value. Higher.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Didn't like above. It's kind of like double distribution almost.
Final days today.
Kind of like a P shape, but they closed at the bottom.
I don't know if it's P shape, right? You have a little bit of access. You have a massive distribution on the bottom. I'm trying to see if you guys can catch something here. Let me give you a little bit of insight. The yellow zone, what is it?
It'd be a D shape, and we close right at the mid
That's
POC
IB.
as well.
IB.
This is just a distribution, regular D-shaped day. What about volatility today? What about
It
participation?
was pretty volatile today.
The IB was 60 points. Pretty good. Compare the IB to the rest of the day's range today. This is a pure definition of what day.
Neutral day?
This is the one characteristic that you guys remember from volume class. We didn't touch this in the last class. This is a phase 2, but the people that do remember it, you guys remember like
The range is set in between
Most of the range
B
was set
period.
in A and B.
entire range is 85% is set in what period?
A and
A
B.
and
That's true. I mean, today when you see that this range is pretty wide, like here, and man, that is pretty freaking good, huh? So if you think about this, this was what, 64 points, and the total is 57 and a half. Right on. So if this happens, what do you know about the day type? There's something that we talked about, something happens, like there's a clear fact about IB. I'll give you a
It's
clue.
a failed IB.
Failed to break.
Okay, and the range extensions. What is a range extension?
When it tries to go past IB.
Be your A plus B, so C period can crack above it. So typically, when you have normal days, what happens to the range extensions?
There's none.
Does that ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
If so. Yep.
So if it's a wide initial balance, what are the odds we will break up or down?
It's tougher to break it.
Why?
Short terms in control.
When volatility is increased, what does it tell you about participation?
There's a lot.
Other time frame buyers.
There's other time frame participants playing in the game, right? But when IB is not breaking, what does it tell you about confidence?
There's no follow through.
So that tells you what about conviction of these buyers and sellers?
Other
It's
time.
not
Other
there.
time
They're
frame.
not really sure.
We're not there. Yep.
There's no confidence. They're not sure on it. And who's in control?
Short term.
What does short term like?
Trading the balance.
Fair value.
Short-term sellers are in control.
Short term, short terms, it's basically two-sided activity. The buyers and sellers like to trade at the extremes, meaning we buy the lows, we sell the highs. Notice that this is happening. Do you trade in middle of the profile?
No.
You close your positions in the middle of the profile. Why is that?
Because it can go either way.
You can go either way, and your risk and reward when you're buying or selling in the middle is what? I mean, it's worse than odds than you can even trade. It's impossible to take that trade when you're doing something that's in balance. So if you look for today, for instance, I actually made decent amount, overnight, and then I had a good run today as well. I think I made almost $4,000, just 3 trades total. One was long, right, and I was targeting actually 20, and it came a little bit over, and I knew about that, but I like to sell into the strength rather than hope that I get filled somewhere, if that makes sense. I'm okay if I lose the 4 points, but especially if I got the entry somewhere around here. I think it was right around here. If I can catch the points, that's great, and then close it, go away, and then I took a short also, say later in the day, just 2 years contracts and drove it down for like almost $1,000. But today, what was the market telling you at any point? If you want to just kind of look at the day, the IB set, it's pretty wide, right? I mean, it's abnormally wide for a day. Where could you have taken action as a trader today?
Still IB.
Say it again.
When IB failed,
Okay. So you had a lot of confluence items here at the IB fail. Does everybody kind of understand? Like at least 2. So when we just said when it's a wide IB, 85% of the range will be set, right? That's going to be your range. 80% of the entire range is going to be 85%. That means a little bit of, maybe you can have 8 points up, 8 points below if they're truly extending all the way. but you're not going to go too far. We know that this level we talked about was pretty massive, right? And we said that this is the first step short. The reason I explained the other one wasn't the first step short right here when it was going up is because we had some poor highs, and usually you run through the poor highs, you get more people to jump in, right? And you do, and then you flush them out, right? You basically make them pay the price of jumping in late on the long side. So today, what were they trying to do here? So now think about your day profiles here. You guys need to take a screenshot, but this is in your PowerPoint. So if you notice the value, we talked about this, right? This profile had like a weird top. The weekly had a nice set of single prints. We said if they hold the value here, that's pretty bearish, right? That means the profile is liquidating. You're holding within the bottom distribution of the weekly profile. That's not very bullish to say, right? But now when you look at the daily, I'm going to hide this here. What's happening here is that you had this, I would say, dip to the bottom, right? And then you recovered from there. You open at the value area high of prior day. And just notice what they were telling you right at open today. What is the message that they gave you at open?
They rejected yesterday's value.
They're rejecting yesterday's value, and that's why I went immediately long. Like I was looking for long. You come in and you clear this, I'm long. And then you can target somewhere around here, and that was the first trade. Then, as you get closer to this and you're failing to get inside where you had the least amount of time spent in volume, volume is fairly important. Like there's no volume here, right? But you're telling me that you could not find buyers to bid into this? You guys don't find that a little odd? If you're trying to shift the value?
Should have been clean break if they were gonna go up.
Oh,
Nothing.
it should have been running. I mean, if this LVN is weak, right, when they sold off, they should have just got here and just destroyed all the bears. All the late bears that got in here, they should have killed them. But instead, what they did, now when I split this here, it looks kind of better. And you can hide the candles for all we care about. So now when you take a look at this, right? Was there any concern at any point that maybe they're not going to go higher?
The stack
Focus
CND
on,
period. Well, everything really
wait,
after C.
yeah, which period gave you a little bit of like, oh crap, it might go down here?
E.
He might.
D?
Maybe K.
E period gave you a warning. We're making lower high and lower low. We put in basically here what between C and E period. What did we do? I'm just trying to have
Lower
a cube
low
so we
on
can
F.
kind of learn together. So here you have a what?
Low.
Or low.
You go between the periods, right? They're telling you, we're not done with the auction yet. So, and then they have an outside period in F. So, and then take a look what happened in H period. It was really interesting. You cleared the auction of really, really on the top into the single prints, and you got stalled immediately there. Then you reverted and you put in a lower low right here and an outside period. So any break of this low here is a go ahead. We're gonna dump. Because the value was trying to be built here. They trapped late longs right here, and then they flushed them. This is the value that was being trying to shift it to. So now when you think about it, we obviously were, here's LVN, like there's no time spent, and they're not able to bid here, and they're not able to even, kind of close in the top quadrant. They sell off. What does that tell you about tomorrow?
They're all about that same level.
What's your key level?
As long as you hold above single prints, if they get above it or stay below it.
there anything on a daily that you would care for here?
Probably where we closed today.
We close below the POC, right below the halfback, and you
Mhm.
have a really big ledge that you created today. I mean, this is a pretty decent ledge when you look at it right here. You guys see that? A ledge is typically when you look at it, ledge just doesn't look right. I mean, it sticks out and then it just kind of cuts off, and you can take off, this end period here and here. You still get the same because you're taking the same out, right? But what else happened towards end of the day? Almost happened.
They almost spiked it down.
So if you think about this, end period came out, they came all the way here and then they stopped it. They really tried to push this value in the last period back to value here. And what happened? This is the bottom of the value. What occurred here? First, they got rejected once here. They came back again, and the market is telling them your value is not here. So if you want to find value tomorrow and be a bull, what's the level? I'm just trying to give you a picture so you guys can read it on your own.
Go back above 69,675.
Yeah, clear this little zone here and tell me you can find value and accept here, but that means you're rejecting the bottom one. Does that make sense? Making sense or no? If you can get back inside this value here and build closer to the single print zone where you had no business today, really could not find new blood. If you're spending time here and you're rejecting the bottom, what's most likely to occur? Where's the path of least resistance? Is it through
Up.
here or through here?
Up.
Yeah, it should be up, right? So what you want to watch for me tomorrow is going to be this little zone here between the weekly halfback and this 0675. And you want to see where do we open in relationship to that. If you open inside of it, and let's say it's a sharp, test drive, where you go up, let's say you test the IBH here, and then you turn around and lose this level, what should you do? Are you a bull or a
Depending on
bear?
the test.
You're a bear, and you're targeting here and this area, and then ultimately you should be kind of going towards this level right here that I'm circling, and there's a reason why I'm circling this level. Who knows why?
That's where they rejected today.
That's where we
They also have
rejected
a ledge
it.
built there too.
And if I do this right here, what would that mean?
Potential 80%.
This would be the bottom, this would be value area low, and this would be the value area high of the day prior on Tuesday. If today we rejected this value, when you think about trading, this is not a spot where I want to be short. Because last time we came to this spot, we had some other participants, right? People come in and they're like, nah, we want to stop this. We don't want to go inside. And they showed that to you twice today. So if the bears are able to push the price through here, the odds that you're going to go to the bottom here are what?
80%.
Percent. So now if you're trading and you want to be a contrarian, right? If you want to play against the odds, well, you can try. But once you get accepted here in this area here, odds are in your favor to go all the way down here. As long as we, let's say bulls, they go above this area, they're in control. What's happening if we trade right here versus if we trade right here or here? How would you guys categorize that? If tomorrow we spend the whole day in this area, are you a bull or a bear?
Undecided.
It's really undecided. And why is that? And if you're looking from a, like, let's say, weekly perspective, it's undecided, correct? The reason why it's undecided is because your weekly profile has to crack this in order to become a bull. If you're trading right below it, you're still accepting the what?
Like the range, so you should just expect selling at that point.
Yeah, this is probably the best drawing I've had. I should probably take a screenshot of this. This looks too perfect here. Moment of pride. Here. That's correct. If you can't find acceptance higher, you're going to be basically trading in bottom distribution, which is telling you that you're not accepted here, you're accepted in this area, and the value shifted. Distribution shifted, so therefore the value shifted. And if the value is shifting lower, then either we're going to get initiation of selling here, or if they can accept the price where we talked about this zone and get really close here, then they can build up the momentum like a balloon, right? Build it up right here, and then just go and run it all the way, probably somewhere around here, 69, 65 would be the level to kind of watch. I would say this is a zone you want to be aware if they decide to play this game tomorrow. But why this zone? Does it make sense?
The POC.
POC in the week prior, because we're in a 2-week balance. This would be the value area high of that range, right? So it's a pretty good zone to target as an exit if you do catch this long here. If they can't hold above it, I'm thinking we're going to have probably something like this, where this is our value today, or sorry, if this is our range today, what you could have is take this value right here, measure it. And what does the rule say when you have like a day like this? What's most likely to happen the next day?
The next an extension, IBX2.
That's what you think. That's what the rule says. Are you going to extend the next day IB2X?
No, I'm sorry. I guessed based on that drawing you drew.
No. Anyone know?
That would also be my guess.
Anyone else?
You get 50% of the move.
Okay.
And
If you open within the value of this day, typically what you're going to have is you're going to have same range points the next day. Because they're going to be exploring the area again to figure out the two-sided activity. So if you do get this, what might happen, just because the way we closed today, and why I'm saying this here, there's a little bit of something right that's telling you this is a little bit of a bearish close instead of bullish for now. Even though you have higher highs, you're shifting, right? But why is it a little bit more bearish than bullish?
goes below the POC.
Below the POC. But remember, we tried to build value higher. They said no. And now you're back here. So for instance, if you can't hold, let's say you can't hold above this single print start, which is 98.5, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to catch this all the way here between value area high and value area low of the 2 days. So that's 16 points. And if they don't agree on this, then they're in trouble. The bulls are in trouble because they're probably going to explore it all the way here. And if what I think happens this weekend, the war in the Middle East will probably escalate quickly. There's a pretty good chance we could take a nice little dump, by Monday, Tuesday. So you want to throw some protection money for yourself into SPY puts, just take some, percentage points and calculate where SPY could be, or just turn on, you're talking about maybe 6% next week. not bad to protect yourself and hedge a little bit against what might come. And the puts will probably get a little cheaper here. Might get a little cheaper here, right? So I wouldn't be against playing some March, maybe monthlies, and play, say it's 5. And you take a look at it. Oof, yeah. So somewhere around 660 or so, it would be a pretty good level to consider. There's a very, very good chance that we're going to go somewhere around here. So there's this little value here that they're holding, but they're going to test these guys right here as well. At some point, they're going to come here and say, hey, let's make sure you guys are all good. So if they do reject this now, anticipate this 650 by March 20th.
This is because of the war.
I think we will have a little flush because we usually scare people, and then of course you get oil and all the other stuff to go up. Oxy is ready for an explosion, about $60. I don't know if you guys are in or not, but this is primed now to go. It should be going at least right here, 57, and then ultimately we can sell it at 80s. Okay, does that make sense? The plan for tomorrow?
Shorty, I have a question. How far back do you like keep your levels? Like, for example, I have like up to like November
Oh, I
in my chart.
keep that much. No, you don't have to. If I don't have a clear picture of like what's happening in terms of value, then you might have to go and look at it, right? Look at it more in terms of like finding what's next, right? But if you have a clear picture of kind of what's going on, like what are we doing here, right? I mean, you don't have to go too far. This can become your key level here on the bottom. You can call it range low for now. And that's the level I would care for in terms of, just thinking out loud, higher levels here. You can put this level here, and then you can also see that you have like multiple levels right around here as a low of a value, and then extension low is somewhere around here, 5. So if you go on your profiles, if they're not giving you a clear picture, like if you see a bunch of overlap and it's not really helpful. So if you take a look here, what is profiles telling you here? Let's say you're in a 3-month balance. Do you agree? Right here?
Yeah.
So if you're in 3-month balance, you really don't need much more levels than what you got here. All you need is this. From other time frame levels, literally is all you need right here. We can change this guy. Here's your sig 1, sig 2. Make sure I mark this.
So you don't really need those like November, December like value
I
areas.
keep December just because the last month, like I keep usually maybe first Q1, just so I know where was the like kind of close of the year. So that way I don't have to look back too far, right? And then panic in the middle of a trade. That's the only reason why I have it. Once we're past March, that December doesn't really matter. Or if you pop out of this area, it would not change anything for me.
Gotcha.
So,
Thank you.
Like here, you see you have a first sig and 2 sigs together, which means your third sig here is creating that bracket for buyers somewhere around here, right? This is the buying opportunity, and you have an LVN right here that's screening for now, like you see here. They're telling you they're not interested in lower prices for now. You can make this guy even wider, but you have a nice little dent here. So let's say it's this. That's a range where you don't want to be short. You want the other initiative sellers to come in here and flush it, right? Because probability that you're gonna be successful shorting here is fairly low, and it's against what you should be doing as a short-term trader. So if you look at this right now, I'm just giving you the simplicity of what you can put on your chart and trade at just these levels, and it will require patience, right? So what is this now telling you? So this is pretty much all the levels you would honestly need here as a to trade if you want to wait and be valid in your trades. You have an LVN splitting the two, right? This is your one, this is your second distribution, and here's one. If you lose this, you're going to flush. But ultimately, first SIG and second SIG together, this is your opportunity to buy. Where's your opportunity to close? Your opportunity to close would be in this area right now where we are. If you clear this, can you play this up here? Certainly, but it's not your best reward. Right? You might scalp this, but it's not a trade you get in and just kind of walk away. So I would watch for sellers to show up here. I don't think we're going to go over this red zone or orange zone here tonight, but I could be wrong, right? I think we're going to go back to this POC about 68.50. From there, we should probably decide what's going to happen. But in the 3 months, I'm pretty certain at one point that this was, if you just look what happened, right? Initially, a lot of volume and price action was here, and a lot of volume and price action was here. Where do you think the POC was once? Do you think this POC shifted from there to here?
Yeah.
I look at the volume here, but then I look at the volume in this last distribution right here. Probably the volume just shifted as it happened, right? And if, let's say, we don't find this price tomorrow to be the fair price and we quickly lose it, the odds that we're going to clean up these lows here increase quite a bit. But if we come here and then they create a new high, you can forget about shorting, and they reclaim this level, they're going to run it. They're going to go here.
That makes it really simple. Thank you.
Guys, hopefully you have a good night. I'm actually starting to pack for my India trip. I'm leaving Friday night at 9 p.m. I have a flight, so I'll bring my PC. I'm gonna have it on me. Probably won't be there Monday. Jet lag, but I'll make sure to stay in touch with you guys.
Well, thanks, Shorty. Enjoy your grass.
Shorty.
Thanks, man. Bye.